This is kind of my first time having someone over for like this long that isn't a family member. And at first I thought it was gonna be a little bit awkward. So I do tend to be a bit more different when someone is next to me, especially since it's like, I don't know if you noticed, but in the start when Kuro came, I was a little bit like stiff, I guess. Like I didn't really talk as much. But it's because like I don't usually have people over that aren't family. So I was a bit nervous, but it was actually really, really nice. Probably won't have it anytime soon though. It's a lot of nerves, you know. Is your mom gonna be upset? Because it was live, I don't think so. Dude, I feel like I am living like I am a teenager. Okay? Like my mom is like, you're gonna have a boy over? I know it's technically like I'm an adult and I can do whatever I want, but yeah, no, my mom was like, as long as you are live on stream. And I'm like, yeah, no, you can check on Twitch. I'm literally live throughout the whole thing. It's for a collab. It's for a collab. I'm a very not a boy in your room. Oh my god. You know, that's the thing. Like when I meet people,
Mom,
like friends.
make sure you keep the doors wide open so I can see you too.
Oh my god. My mom was like, yeah, well, as long as you're live on Twitch. I guess that's like her version of keeping the door open. It's like you are live on a public platform that I can just check at any given time. A boy? No way. It's not even the boy thing. I rarely have people over that I'm not like super close with, but I am close with Kuro, but I guess it is because of the boy thing when it comes to Kuro. But in general, I don't really have people over. Unless they're like my parents or my family. Then that's different, right? But not friends. Usually I opt for like meeting out in public with friends. You already know this about me though. I get a bit anxious with people in like closed spaces. You know what I mean? But I think it was definitely more comfortable because it was live in my head. I think it's because I was raised with very like a protective mom. But now I kind of adapted her mentality where I'm just like, yeah, no, I'd rather not. You know what I mean? Like back, like I wasn't raised with like, oh, sleepovers or like, oh, you can just stay over your friend's house. No. If I want to stay over my neighbor's house, like the person living right in front of our house as a kid, I have to tell my parents like 3 months in advance. It's literally like a vacation. I have to be like, Mother, in 3 months' time, I am planning on having a hangout. And even then, my mom's like, no. I've only ever had one sleepover. In my, I think 2 actually. With the same person. That is my parents' friends. They have a kid. Right, and it's because at that time, I didn't have any friends. Like, I didn't have any close friends. I had a really close friend, and they moved away, and I was, like, lonely. So it's like, my mom had to tell her friend to be like, hey, you know, our daughters should kind of, like, hang out and have a sleepover. And even then, I've had to have my mom, like, their mom had to tell my mom and, like, update my mom. It was a whole thing. And it was hard because at that time, we didn't have phones. Like, we didn't have, like, cell phones. We had, like, the landline phones. It was a whole thing. What about Giri's place? That's different because it's Giri, right? I've stayed over at Giri's place last time I went to Japan for a couple of days. But it's different because it's, like, girls, you know? If it's, like, there is a guy, now that, my mom is a bit, like, you know what I mean? Like, because also, I don't know if I can tell you guys this, but you know, Giri has talked to my mother. I tell my mom everything, right? So when I arrived at Giri's place, Giri was like, oh, you should stay over. And I was like, that sounds fun. Sure. Like, we can have a girls' night out. I was like, sure, that sounds fun. Like, me, Giri, Mata, we can stay out. Like, we can stay together. That'd be fun. And the first thing I did was I was like, okay, let me call my mom. So I called my mom. And I was like, hey, she's like, what are you doing now? And I'm like, oh, I'm having dinner with some of my friends. You know Mata. My mom loves Mata. I think one of the reasons why my mom was okay with it as well was Mata was there. My mom literally like loves Mata a lot, and she would trust Mata with like my left kidney. You know? So she's like, oh, who are you with? I was like, oh, Mata's here. There's a new person that I don't think you've met. Their name is Giri. Mom's like, who's that? And I'm like, oh, she's a VTuber. She does a lot of cooking stuff. She's really nice. And I didn't even say anything. Instantly, I heard Giri's voice and she was like, Michi, is that your mom? And I was like, oh yeah, it's my mom. I'm just updating her. And Giri was like, give me the phone. Hi, auntie. And she was so friendly. My mom is the weakest to like friendly women, okay? Like instantly Giri was like, hi, auntie. Oh my God. Blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, like we're having so so much fun. Look, we're making this. We're thinking of making dim sum. And then she turns on the video. Like, Giri turns on the video cam. She's like, look at where we are. Look, we're in the safe confinement. It's all girls here. Good food. Like, instantly, without needing to be asked, right? So instantly, my mom was like, I like that person. You can stay over, whatever. And I was like, I was gonna anyway, but yay! Because if I didn't, I would be homeless. So I was like, yay! And Giri was like, yeah, no, she's so sweet. So my mom likes Giri a lot.
Giri knows because she has a strict Asian family to Lamau.
I know, dude. If you were raised in a strict like family, you know what to do. You know the exact words to say, the things you have to do. Without being asked, you prepare. So yeah, I had to tell my mom for today. I told her like 2 days ago, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I know this is sudden, but I think I'm gonna have like Kuro come over for a stream. Oh god. She's like, oh, you know one of the questions she asked, she was like, is Kuro staying there? And I'm like, no. I think he's driving back. She's like, alone? And I'm like, on stream. It's for content. It's gonna be live. It's like the whole time live? Yes. Until the end? Yes. Okay, you know something? My mom is planning on coming over, she said, but I don't know if she did. I'm not sure. Okay, I didn't hear, but mom's like, okay, I come over, I check. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to my mother. I'm gonna die. So she's like, live? Yeah? You don't lie. Later if I come check, better true. Later when I come check.
She ever revisited the whole feeling a little dick comment?
She ever revisited the whole feeling a little dick comment? No, I don't think so. I don't know which one you're talking about. I have been so unhinged with my mother recently. Have Kuro met your mom? Yes, but not met, like talk. Because every time I hang out with friends, okay, this is the minus thing. I don't hate it because I'm raised like this. I'm very used to it. But anytime I go anywhere, I have to call my mom. Okay, I know this is very like, what the fuck? But when I say like, oh my, you know, oh, feeling a little dick. Oh, sick. That one? No, my mom let it go after she interrogated me for a while. But the minus thing about having protective parents, like I make it sound like it's a joke, but some people will hate it. But because I'm raised with it, I'm used to it. I'm fine with it. But every time I hang out with anyone, I will have to update my mom before I go, during, halfway during, if it's a long period of time, and when I arrive back. If not, she will get really, really pissed, right? So every time I do hang out with people and there is like, it's not just Kuro, it's just anyone, I will always call my mom and I'm like, oh yeah, here's the update, who's there? And I'm like, oh, it's these people. And sometimes I'd be like, hey, do you want to say hi to my mom? You know, but the thing is, like, Kuro is not raised strict. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have the same upbringing I do. So he didn't really, like, do what Giri did. You know, like, if anything, Giri's probably the only person that made it so fucking easy. Because Giri's just like, hi, amazing greeting, introduce yourself, tell what you're doing, show what you're doing, explain everything, explain how it's safe. Worst case scenario, it is still safe. Like, Giri does it instinctively. Not everyone does that. People are just usually like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. Zip, and then done. Like, that is the end of the conversation. You know what I mean? Like, you don't make that effort because you're not raised that way, so you don't know how to do that. So, yes, Kuro have talked with... I'm not gonna lie, every single one of my friends have spoken to my mother. Every single one of them. They've either heard my mom or said hi to my mom or had a conversation with my mom because I always, you know, I have to update her. Even now, when I go to the bathroom, I have to check my phone to make sure, like, yeah, I have to respond to my mom's message, right? But she doesn't message as much because she knows I'm streaming. But if I wasn't streaming, oh, if it's just me and Kuro, or any guy, not just Kuro, like any guy, if you have a penis and I'm alone with you, my mom would literally be on the call the whole time. Like, she will not end the call. You know what I mean? She's gonna be there 24/7. So, yeah, I don't know. Minus part of living with, like, strict families is that, you know, they're strict about everything. The positive thing is, like, you know someone cares about you, I guess, but very, very strict. No boyfriend for you. Yeah, my mom still has a mentality low-key, where it's like, our family, our big family asks me, like, Michi, when are you gonna get married? But my mom is still like, okay, low-key, I feel like it's gotten worse because I started streaming.
Very back fist for the one reason.
You know what I mean? Ever since I started streaming, and I'm actually starting to, like, earn a decent amount of money, and I can actually, like, survive with my own money, my mom has shifted her mentality to, like, hey, you know, you are self-sufficient. Why date? If you dating, you have to pay them too. Why dating? So yeah, I don't know. My family members is like, when are you gonna get married, Michi? But my mom, and slowly my dad is becoming like, hey, you know, Michi don't need to get married. Like, you know, she doesn't need to get married lah. It's okay. Take her time. No worry. She can survive on her own already. Why need to get married? So it's like, yeah, okay. I'll be real with you. I don't know. I know this sounds weird, but I'm okay with this because I'm raised this way. I've never really had that mentality. Like, I don't have the mentality where I'm like, oh, but I want to. But father, I want to be on my own. I never really had the mentality. So it's definitely like, it might be weird for you guys because maybe you were raised different, but being raised this way, you just don't think about it.